So, welcome back to HBM mod. Today we are setting up a oil setup again. Like, how many oil setups do you need? Not this many. Well, actually, we're resetting up our oil setup. So, I mean, why are we doing this? Well, because there's a better way of doing things, and I like to find the best way to do things, or I like to change things up sometimes. And in this case, it's really more of I like to change stuff up than there's a better way of doing things, although it's kind of both, because the way we were doing things before, not the best way. But now, we're finding even better ways. For example, we're able to turn diesel into BTX, into phosgene, or no, into hard plastic in it. So, right here, BTX. Perfect. Now, BTX is one of these things, benzene, toluene, xylene, that we need to put into a bin, or storage. Setup, here it is. That is reformer gas. Do we put this in a bin? I think we put sulfuric acid in a bin, not reformer gas, or whatever. We have enough for setting up a bunch of these, so, I mean, it's not going to be an issue, is it? We got light oil, we got... What could be the other one? Vitamin? Oh, this one of these is for oil. Yeah, we're not going to do that. We'll have this guy beat something else anyway, because we got an extra one, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So the actual reformant comes off of this guy, goes down into a barrel tank thingy, into here. Which, I mean, it's gonna get cramped when we build the basement for this. But I'm not even sure what the basement's gonna look like right now, which is kind of interesting. It's gonna look like the rest of the stuff, but I think it's gonna look like the coolest basement we've built so far. Why do I like building basements? Cause, last episode you can find that out. It looks cool. Very cool. Not basement, no, BTX. Right. This stuff, purple juice. Dang. That looks pretty good. I wouldn't drink it though, it's basically chemicals. Now let's see what we're doing for the next thing. We need to have that pipe come over to there and hook in. Which, I mean, considering that this is going to be a basement level, and I don't really want to have too many pipes on the surface where we're having machinery, then I will have this go along the rooftop, and then, as soon as it needs to, it will pop out and then do an ambush maneuver like this. Boom. Perfect. That is BTX. Set that up. Set these guys to the green mode. This guy needs to be green as well. That is a lot of compact storage here. These small tanks are from the old days. I wouldn't use these nowadays. I'd probably use the BAT9000s because, yeah, we can't say that on YouTube, but I guess, I mean, not that I would say it anyway, honestly. I think we've said stuff like that before. It's fine, dude. So this takes reformant, turns it into that, but now what happens to reformant gas? Well, reformant gas is the interesting part, probably. I'm just saying that, I don't know. It gets solidified. It gets turned into mustard. That's not even useful. High performance solvent. That's his main usage, is the high performance solvent now, isn't it? Also welding osmiridium, combined steel, balloon. Oh, actually, yeah, that's important. That's actually pretty important for the ICF now, isn't it? Just ICF. Every day I see this thing, I go, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? We have to build this big machine, and this is actually annoying. Hey, this will be fine, because it is actually the endgame machine. You think the DFC is the endgame? No, it is actually that ICF. That's like, DFC's for insane people. ICF is endgame. Well, actually, DFC might be easier than ICF, honestly. And the thing is that in this version of HBM mod, I can actually get the DFC at the same time as the ICF, or before, technically. I don't remember what it needs exactly, but I know it doesn't need anything from the ICF, because that is added in a later update. So, I'm actually pretty much covered for getting Garrel before the ICF, so I don't have to make the ICF technically, although I'm going to. I think we're gonna also build a computer at some point, but that is not only is it not interesting because computers just do math, which is not interesting at all, it wouldn't even be useful. But I added in open computers if you haven't noticed, so I will be able to combine the actual cheapness of a redstone computer with the capabilities of using Lua as a language, although I'm not even sure I would combine the two things. In fact, I might just switch over to the superior computer craft, because it is superior always. Open computers, you gotta do too much crafting stuff. I just wanna make a cheap computer, right? But also, the monitors in open computers, they might be better. I'm not sure. Which is probably the main reason I have open computers, so I can combine a monitor to then my own system of redstone, which would be able to run its own internal language, which would be superior, because I'd be able to understand it. I don't understand Lua, it's confusing, so. Redstone computer, super easy, simple. I create the language, I understand it. Lua, what the heck is this? This sounds like it's from Hawaii, sounds like garbage. Buh. Let's get this garbage out of here. Let's switch it out for some superior languages. Like, I don't know. Just program everything onto a ROM. You know what I mean? And then have the ROM be read off as instructions. Yeah, it'd be pretty simple. Although we'll need some registers too, probably. For storing data. What kind of thing are we gonna make on a computer, though? It's a pretty good question. Engine lubricant disposal. Now, how the heck are you gonna dispose of engine lubricant? Probably what you're asking. Well, don't worry. I have a plan. It's quite simple, in fact. I will dispose of engine lubricant through a pipe. That is the plan. And it will work. Probably. Let's see. We got industrial oil. From there, industrial oil makes this engine lubricant and heating oil. Okay, amazing. Awesome. So now I can just set up a pipe here for engine lubricant. Boom. Then the heating oil can go to the start of the setup, or actually be piped into the rest of the setup, which needs heating oil, which is amazing. So we're covered on heating oil. Perfect. There is a slight issue with piping this, and that is gonna be that I need to pipe underneath a bunch of rubbish, probably to here, but this is not a big issue. I have pipes that go through the floors of other rooms, so I mean, that's weird. But that doesn't hook in correctly. So, unless we set up a barrel there, that would actually work, though. If I had a barrel there, that'd pretty much connect them. Heating oil now. Right, I need some regular heating oil. That will go through the system and be ran down to there. But also we need to have a setup for heating oil that'll probably run something else. I don't know. Surplus heating oil will be disposed of in the industrial solidification machine for the production of a wonderful substance known as... Wait a second. Can we take heating oil a step further like we did with diesel? That is actually the most worthwhile question ever. Let's see about it. Now, heating oil will take like 16,000 inside of the coking machine. 1,600 actually. It gives you coker oil. Coker oil gives you cracked oil and heating oil. Or, okay, cracked oil and heating oil, which is desulfurized cracked oil, I guess. It's sour gas, I mean. It might be... No, not worth it. It's a lot of steps. A lot of new machines, not really worth it, I would say. But this would be the most simple way of doing it. Probably the most optimal way of doing it. So, time for the big one. The vacuum setup, which is probably going to be the hardest part. Well, I mean, we only needed 3 of these guys, which is kind of ridiculous. Considering what we've done so far. Is there anything else I need to take care of here? No, not really. Although, I could have corrected diesel. I didn't do that. Okay. Well, what does this produce? Vacuum heavy oil, reformant, vacuum light oil, and sour gas. Well, the reformant, we already know what to do with reformant. That is to send the reformant over that way. Simplest solution is usually the best one. So, we gotta get reformant gas over to here. And to do that, we'll just pass it through a system down into here, correct? That gives you BTX, okay. Oh, so just go over this, and it just hooks up. Perfect. Perfect. That's not a problem at all. Works out really well. Remember, know your goose eggs. That's a meme, I guess. I don't know. So these produce reformate, and the reformate goes into here. Right, so reformate can come from here to there perfectly. Now, vacuum light oil is the next thing I want to take care of, because vacuum light oil will produce vacuum light oil, vacuum heavy oil. We got vacuum light oil here. That produces solidification, blah blah blah. You can turn into that. You can coke it. Kerosene and reformate gas. We already know how to deal with reformate gas. Basically, we just dispose of that into a tank for now. We don't have a way of disposing of it completely. Oh, well, I probably should solve that. You can also solidify it. So we'll go with this one. Reformate gas can be taken a step further for mixing to make. Stop it! I'm trying to find out about reformate gas. Yes. Okay. Now, how do we take this a step further? We can make it into high performance solvent. Okay, that's the disposal method. Vacuum heavy oil is the one that's going to need another radiolysis machine. We've reduced the amount of cracking towers and stuff needed to this setup somehow, which is actually impressive. Reform it by doing this, which is, I mean, that's a way of getting reform it, not the best way. 40 industrial oil and heavy heating oil, which we know what to do with industrial oil. We just send it to the other industrial oil setup. The heating oil can then be cracked into reformate gas and regular heating oil, although there's probably another way of disposing of this to get coker oil if you want to do that, but you're losing out on the reformate gas. So the other way might be a better way, but you don't get as many of these byproducts now, do we? So we're gonna set up this guy right here for the actual. That's gonna be for the heavy oil in it. Okay. So the vacuum heavy oil produces industrial oil, and that can be sent to this guy. Now, this is actually one of those times where I might need to set up another layer on this thing, which actually ends up working out, I think. So I can then take the product from this guy, the industrial oil, out of the bottom, and that will make the stuff in this guy, I think. I don't know. That might work, it might not work. That's the thing. There's a pretty big problem, I think, and that's that we're gonna need to have another one of these guys set up, but it's gonna be over on the other side of the refinery, practically, which means that getting energy to the main buffer is going to be a bit of an issue if we end up building it over here. So I think what we'll do is we'll pipe all of the stuff through the ground, through the basement level, all the way to another one of those RTG setup things. We'll have them probably over, I don't know, maybe here or so. This could be a decent spot for them. We got 4 of these guys to waste, which is nice. Because we don't need 4 of them, apparently. We only need 2. Which makes no sense at all. I feel like I want to set up a new oil setup just to use the rest of these. Like maybe a wood oil setup or something ridiculous. But that's something for another time, and I'll probably do that on my own, actually. Now I think about it. If it's really worth it, I'll probably go make all the stuff for that in my own time, because you all have seen enough oil for one series, haven't you? You've seen, like, what? 3 different oil setups at this point. Well, actually 2, but now this is the 3rd one. Maybe you haven't seen enough oil, okay? Maybe. We drastically reduced the amount of pipes we've used in this oil setup, which is actually incredible. So the heavy heating oil now is gonna go into this guy. What is heavy heating oil gonna do in this guy? He's gonna go make the heating oil and reformate gas, which conveniently is right next to this, actually. No, this guy's reformate gas, but conveniently right next to it, of course. Still conveniently close. So, that is... I did not even plan for that. That actually ended up being amazing. Let's move him over here. Although, yeah, it's kind of okay. So reformate gas now, and then we'll do the heavy heating oil pipeline, which I need to still do because I'm doing these in the wrong order, dude. Heavy heating oil is gonna have to pass underneath all of this, so it's gonna have to go through the floor, I guess. There's also another problem we have to deal with, which is the sulfur production. Now, sulfur is amazing. We can actually get that out of the refinery using a hopper if we need to. So, we'll try that if that is... I mean, if that's how we need to do it. Alright, so that's gonna take the heavy heating oil, make the regular heating oil and the reformant gas and whatever. Now, the regular heating oil can come out the top of this guy and be sent through... Where's that even? Oh, maybe it can't. Maybe it's gonna have to come out the other side. That would be fine. Let me see about that. Yeah, it's right over here. How are we gonna get the heating oil from here to there? That's a pretty logistical question to be asking right about now. I think we're gonna run it up like this. We're gonna run it up a few more blocks once we get it out to here. Yeah, maybe. You can reform this too. For naphtha. Why would I do... Maybe... It's actually nice that you can... This allows you to get center around one production. Like, if you want more naphtha or whatever, you could basically convert all of your heating oil to naphtha, which is actually a nice feature. Amazing stuff. I mean, I don't know if it's always been like that, but I think that's a new recipe, dude. I think it's a new recipe. For all intensive purposes, over the past 4 episodes, we've basically built what I could call the best oil refinery I've ever seen. Although, it is far less so the best oil refinery I've ever seen. It's not that close yet. It's not there yet. We still got a little bit of work to do on this, but I think I'm gonna do that on my own. This is basically what we had before, but more capable. A more capable version of what we had before. Because what we had before was not the most efficient in the world. It was actually pretty garbage. Now, it's time to figure out what the heck these guys need. This guy needs phosgene, and to get that, you need unsaturated hydrocarbons, which we don't have a method of producing unsaturated hydrocarbons, it looks like, which is a problem. It's a problem. Oh, but we still haven't finished this guy. We need the light oil setup, which is another issue. So let's go ahead and get that light oil set up now, shall we? Let's go ahead and just hook up one of these here, and that should produce our light oil. Right. So we got vacuum light oil, and oh, there's another one. Sour gas. That's right. I have completely neglected sour gas as much as I have neglected light oil. Yeah, this will be fine, I'm sure. So this produces kerosene and reformant gas, and we all know as a reformant gas, it goes in the garbage bin, basically. Pretty much, essentially the garbage bin. And the kerosene actually goes into a big old tank. One of... Where is it even at? One of these, dude. Now, the sour gas actually can be disposed of through this method, which gives you sulfuric acid, petroleum gas, stuff that we probably kind of need a little bit of, but not really too much more. The hydrogen, on the other hand, is something we definitely don't need any of, when we can just dispose of that. Sour gas can also turn latex into rubber bars, if you didn't know, so maybe, hey, you can hold on to that, it's pretty useful. Maybe. You can also coke it to sulfur and coker gas if you need CO2. Now, I'm not sure the yield, actually, this is the best way to get rid of it, because this would give you 1,000, whereas the other one gives you 750. So, that makes it a very useful recipe. Now, to actually take it a step further, you get aromatic hydrocarbons and carbon dioxide, which is bad for the environment, but I don't care because carbon dioxide, it's just good for the soul, you know? It's good for a little bit of carbon dioxide, hasn't hurt anybody now, has it? What's it done to you? I mean, like what? It didn't punch you in the face or something, did it? The biggest issue is the lack of unsaturated hydrocarbons, which you can only get really through the production methods using a actual oil derrick or fracking tower or something, which is, we can figure that out when we get there. We're not there yet right now. Well, I'll probably set up the regular oil thing. So, that's at least what I'm thinking I'll do for that. This is reformant gas. So I probably will hook up the pipe. Just connect the pipe over this way. Well, the other way of getting unsaturated hydrocarbons is by a cracked oil setup, which is not something I actually would probably go for that method. It's renewable because you can actually, it might actually, it's definitely worth it. That's the way I'm gonna go about it, I think, actually. Now that I've considered it an option, I'm probably gonna go with that. That's the way I'm thinking. Is it the best way? Probably not. Is it a way of doing it? Yeah, it is. And, you know, I do like that method. We also will need to be able to pump chlorine over to here. Oh, no. This would be fine, though. It could be worse. Could be, you know, no matter how bad things are, they could always be worse. So, reformant gas. Let's go ahead and hook that up. Boom. This guy needs to make phosgene, HP solvent, which we did lose a bunch of we lost so much high performance solvent by doing this, by actually setting this guy up and removing the entire refinery over to here. We messed up all. Wait, where did this guy get reformant gas from? Oh, because there was reformant gas in the tanks, wasn't there? One last thing I'm gonna do today before we end today's episode and we come back to a finished oil refinery next week, or actually tomorrow. Basically, we'll be finished tomorrow. Is I'm gonna go ahead, make the actual RTG pellets. Now, what flavors we got available are gold, a bunch of other stuff. Fade will tell you gold is the best. I will tell you that this strontium and other materials that are cheap are pretty good. Polonium is an option. Polonium's a very good option now. Although it's gonna decay very fast, which is why I usually stick to cobalt 60 and strontium. They're very cheap materials and easy to obtain large quantities of. As you can see, check how many I have. A lot of them. And now, what is this? It's pipes. Just random pipes on the ground. That is unsafe. Safety hazard. This will charge up the entire refinery. Oh no, it's actually not charging the entire refinery because I need to hook it up to the grid. I'm out of cables, so. Right, so these guys are producing a lot of, what is it producing, like 600 or something? 60 energy, which produces around 600 HE per tick, which is not a lot. It's enough to power an oil refinery, though, especially considering the fact that these will charge up the batteries, too. So it's a lot of energy, albeit. Not to mention the fact that we can actually max those out. We can make the polonium batteries too. I would like to try these out because I haven't made these yet. Polonium ones are actually really good for energy. You can see here, power level 50 versus the power level of 15. And these are like the third best ones you can get. Lead 209 is the best? Don't quote me on that because I'm not sure. We'll need polonium, but not all of this because it will kill me. In fact, that might even kill me. What is that? 2,100? Yeah, I can actually handle that. How much radiation is it? Lots of radiation, of course. Hey, what, you think we do not have enough radiation here or something? So these guys will go inside this machine, since I have so many of them right now. The thing is that these are really cheap, and when they decay, which takes, like, what, 60 years for these guys take the lowest time. We're making 2.1 kilo HE right now, which is a lot. We can take this a step further, dude. Make even more kilo HEs, dude. 3.6 kilo HE, which is pretty good for a starter setup. I mean, that's about what a starter oil refinery needs. And, I mean, that's charging these guys super fast right now. 1.8 kilo HE for all of them.